You're listening to Passed Out, the podcast where history, mystery, the occult, and the cosmos collide. Every week we explore new conspiracies, uncover hidden truths, question the impossible, and journey into the unknown. Stay curious, and welcome to Passed Out. Welcome to Passed Out. I'm Josh.
I'm Arash.
Let's start with Severance. I'm curious if Severance was real, would you do it?
I did it in a way. It was called Xanax, and once the effects wore off, I would completely forget what I did that day, and it was awesome. Up until, realizing through text messages I was doing some crazy shit that I probably shouldn't have been doing, yelling at people, being a complete asshole. But it was nice having the escape. However, the part of Severance that I think could really fuck someone up is when they're like infants, when they get to work. And then that other part of you, it's like creating a new person, and they're at work all the time. That kind of sucks too. And you're like kind of wondering what's on the outside.
Yeah, I really like that I feel like the first season was just more playful, like, hey, you're in an office setting. This is kind of weird. Like, weird stuff's happening. And then the second season, they were, like, really exploring, like, the dynamic of, like, this is a real person that you created, and this is a real person that wants the rights of a real person, Like, I think Dylan's story in season 2 really explored that the best, where it was like, oh, you have a life outside of here, and this is one of your perks now. And I thought the letter to himself at the end was really beautiful. Thought that was...
He really foreshadowed it too in the first season, because he was the innie that always kind of asked the coworkers, like, what do you think we are outside of here? And he was like, do you think we bang chicks? Not knowing he has like a wife and kid outside of there. And then the last episode, the season finale for season 1, you kind of see Helena, or is it it is pretty much it is that she's Helena. You find out that she's
that's the last episode. You find out who she is, and like, I think Dylan's last scene in the first season is like he's like in the room, and like Milchick's like trying to break in, and he's like, fuck you, Mr. Milchick.
The kid comes in. Everybody had a crazy like last episode, season 1, and then Irving kind of became the badass of season 2.
You think Irving's coming back?
I think so. John Turturro's too big of a name for them to just let go of.
So I think there's more to it. Like, who's he talking to on the payphone? Like, they never really explored who's on the other side of what he's been doing.
And he was in the military. It's heavily implied that he was, or I think it's like canon, like actual canon, that he was in the Navy or some sort of special forces, something.
Are you sure? Because maybe he was. I got the impression that it was that was his dad's stuff.
I see. But he speaks like his dog's name's Radar.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that he probably was in the Navy then. Yeah,
is he like some dude in intelligence or something? And that's
maybe what if he's still military and he's just been like spying? Like
that's exactly where I'm going
on there. Yeah, like that's a good thing.
The paintings too are weird, and I always try to wonder, like, because the first time you see him really paint, he's listening to Aces High by Motorhead.
Yeah,
and I was trying to like
chugging black coffee all night, and then he can't stay awake at work.
And like, why does he see the oil? What's that about? What is he flashing back to?
I don't know.
And that was like in the opening sequence of the show where they show it, so it can't be something minor. Yeah, I never really got to that. Well, what do you think of Gemma?
I think the episode about her in season 2 where like you like get like all of the backstory and you like really explore like her and Mark's relationship. I That's such a beautiful. It was such a beautiful episode of
Mm-hmm.
TV. Like just so pretty. Like the cinematography was
Yeah.
on another level. So good.
Chick that
So
did it, unfortunately, I don't think is going to be a part of the show anymore.
yeah, I saw that she was taking some more directing gigs and she was going to be leaving. Which
Good, good for her, but it's bad
I
for the
hope they
show.
trained somebody kind of with her vision because I feel like I feel like the cinematographer is kind of like an unsung hero of movies. The director gets a lot of credit, and yeah, the director's a big part of that, and a lot of directors know how to set up their own shots and know the whole, you know, every step from ground up. You need somebody else who understands that vision, who can frame those shots as good as you could if, you're not there. So I hope that they've got somebody else who kind of has that like unique kind of unusual eye that Ben Stiller and the former cinematographer had.
What do you think they're doing as far as work goes? Because it's never really like.
I have no idea what the company I have no idea what the company's actually doing. Like what MDR is now. Like they are essentially like refining files to blockade Gemma's split her into multiple personalities. She's severed the way I took it is she's severed like 25 times, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, so or 24 or whatever room. Man, why can't I think of what they were fucking they said it 1,000 times in the season, whatever the
I
last.
know. I can't think of it either.
Cold Harbor.
There you go. Yep.
Yeah, Cold Harbor. Uh, I don't know. I really like that season. I
Do you
thought
think
that
she's dead? Do you think she died and they saved her, or they set it up to where?
I think they set it up. Like they kind of implied that they were. I kind of got the feeling in that episode that they were watching her and that she was like flagged as a candidate that was like potentially ready. Like like the blood drive where her and Mark met was a lumen blood drive.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a lot of like things in the background that kind of show. I think are showing hints.
I forget the character's name, but his brother, Mark's brother-in-law. There's uh, there's a kind of a prequel that came out that the show released that you can read, and she was working some sort of protesting, and like it involved like
Mm,
bombing Lumen trucks and shit, and she was
shit.
really close to I can't think of his name, but Mark's brother-in-law, and she may have been a target of Lumens for a while, and so what better way to remove her than to act like she's dead and just use her as an experiment?
Mhm.
Um, do you think Helly's pregnant?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it has to be something for the show.
Absolutely. I think she's pregnant. Do you think we start with that? You think we come back into the next into episode 1 of season 3? Do you think it starts with them still just like holding up in Lumen, or
It might be a thing like how season 2 started, where
they kind of they kind of like you're like, are we gonna show up in the middle of this party with him having the realization, but they jump it's different. So
yeah, because it's been a while since I watched the finale, but he leaves Gemma behind and goes with.
Yeah,
But
any Mark ends up running off with Helly at the end while Gemma's just standing there looking confused as hell in the hallway.
so what they're gonna do is they're gonna have Audi Mark realize that Gemma's in there, and that's how they're gonna lure him back. But the what's that process where they merge the two, the innie
A
and the Audi
reintegration.
reintegration? That's gonna be a big factor in
Mark's
it.
already going through, like, he already started that process, so
Yeah.
maybe that's part of it. Maybe he's gonna wake up in there with Helly and be like, oh shit, like, my innie fucked this up, which the conversation between him and his innie was like, I wasn't expecting it to go as like intense as it did in that episode where he's like, "You're a child."
I mean, he's not wrong,
He's
but
not wrong, yeah. Like the innies, they're fighting for their own life. They're fighting to have their own life, but they don't see the big picture of what they're doing causes repercussions for the essentially the same version of you on the outside of this place.
and even if he is reintegrated, that doesn't take a lot of his problems away, especially if
No.
Helly's pregnant, because now he's going to
Oh
be
yeah.
battling
No,
of the irony of Gemma not being able to
mhm.
have a kid, and then
Oh
Helly
my
gets
god.
pregnant,
Yeah.
and he's like just battling that.
Yeah, I think
Gemma might become a villain herself, like a tragic villain,
maybe. Yeah. I could see that.
and then Irving might be the actual hero of the story.
He like comes back and saves the day after he's been gone for a while.
Yeah, and Christopher Walken's character, who knows?
Yeah.
He's such a good addition to that.
I know. I kind of miss having him just kind of walking around the hallways, just looking at art, mumbling shit.
The real star of the show, in my opinion, though, is Milchek. He's
I
so
agree,
good.
man. I know, dude. He's so good.
Where he's talking to himself in the mirror.
Yeah. Dude, the paperclip thing where he's like, just fucking sitting down there all day, just putting paper clips on. That threw me for a loop. Where I was like, "There's a right and wrong way to fucking face a paperclip." What?
Yeah. Wait, is it the
Crazy.
small side up or the big side? Because I usually have the big side
I
facing the front.
don't know. I feel like it would make more sense to have the big side on the back, just because of like bracing.
It does make more sense, but I guess I've been doing it wrong though my whole life too.
I could be wrong. What I'm saying could be just completely wrong. Just because what I said is logical does not mean that that's the way that it actually is.
How do you have your toilet paper? Do you have the toilet paper coming like forward, or do you have to pull it? Like, is it
It
on the
goes.
bottom?
It depends on how it ends up on there. Like I'm
You're
not like
flexible.
a. Yeah, I'm not like a perfect like. There's not like a way where I throw it on there. It's like, oh, kind of wherever it landed is where it landed.
Not a TP Nazi.
Yeah.
I used to be. I used to be the over only. As I've grown up, the other way makes sense too. I'm not really worried
Yeah.
about it either.
Yeah.
People get really mad about that though. Like,
So weird.
sticklers. Yeah. It's like, God bless you that that's your biggest problem.
Yeah. Do we have anything else on Severance that we wanted to touch on before we go on? Do you have any other theories for what could potentially happen in season 3?
Not really for season 3, but for the entire show, like, what is it? AI? Is it just a big expose on corporate America? Or because it's not even a real place. Because if you see the address, it has like, I forgot what the letters are, but it's not 2 letters that are a U.S. state.
Mm-hmm.
And when they go on the retreat, it seems like it's digital. It's not even like you don't see their breath come out. And they're in the cold.
Interesting. That's really interesting.
And like that cave conveniently had that book that they needed.
Yeah. How did they get them out there?
They were totally inside. They had a TV that they just pushed.
On the snow?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. That's crazy.
Super weird. And I don't think they would risk having people out in the wild, even if it is the middle of nowhere. Anything could happen, and they'd have to do a whole big cover up. They had walkie-talkies that worked, so Lupin might be way bigger than we think.
Yeah, probably. Man, that's crazy.
So
it's hard to tell how big it is because the way they shoot it, like they want you to feel lost in the hallways.
It's very liminal.
Mm-hmm.
Backrooms-ish.
Yeah, super backrooms.
Which is why I got into that show, actually. Was because of that, and then it just became so much more.
Can't remember why we started watching it, but man, I felt like I was hooked immediately. I was like, this is fucking crazy.
I heard nothing but good things about it too.
Yeah.
So,
which I was on Apple before. I had like started kind of watching stuff on Apple before that because the Apple's got some good sci-fi stuff. The Foundation's really good, and I really like Silo. So Apple's got some good stuff.
Silo, I once they explained what was outside the silo, kind of lost it for me, and they kind of did that quick.
Have you watched season 2?
No,
Dude, season 2 is so much better than season 1. And
really.
like the ending of season 2, you're like, holy shit, how do like what?
So what
And
happens? I don't care if you spoil it.
okay, so how far did you watch? Did you finish season
First
1?
few episodes, no.
Okay, so do you care if I ruin this whole show for you?
No, no, go for it.
Spoilers, we're about
Yeah,
to ruin
spoiler
all
alert.
of Silo. Okay, so were you where you were kind of following her as the sheriff?
Yeah.
Okay. So they end up eventually like setting her up and making her go outside so that she doesn't do it. So she goes outside, but they gave her good like the engineering and people like they did like a whole scheme to get her really good like better insulated tape on her suit so that she could make it. She makes it to another silo. And that's where season 2 starts is her opening another silo. But that silo had like that silo had basically a riot breakout and just like an
So
uprising, and
so it's like
everybody went
almost like
outside and
Fallout in a way.
died
Yeah.
in that silo except for one person. And like the whole thing is like, hey, it's paranoia. This dude's lived in like this silo by himself for like 30 years. So he's like super paranoid, and like they're moving around. Well, in the other silo, her not cleaning because like she didn't clean the glass when she left because she knew something was off, and she realized it was like she realized that the inside of the screen was like digital. So she so like the internal factions inside keep fighting, like the mayor and like Common's character, like all the factions inside, and like engineering ends up like fucking splitting off from the rest of the silo in season 2 because like
Hmm.
they're like, Juliet lived. Like, fuck this. Like, so like there's like an uprising already starting to happen. Juliet realizes like when she goes into the other silo, what happened to their silo, and realizes because she didn't clean that their silo is about to implode and she needs to get back. End of season 2 is her coming back into the fucking thing and Bernard trying to leave in the suit. And then the whole thing goes up in flames. And I was like, holy shit. Okay. So now that's kind of where you're at going into season 3. I think you should finish season 2. It's really good.
Okay. So maybe I should have had more faith in it.
It gets better. I know it's a little slow and it's kind of a grind. And like I admit, the first season was harder for me to get through. And even the first couple episodes in season 2, I was like, where's this going? But then like it just kind of takes off at like episode 4. It kind of takes off and you're like, okay, I can't stop watching this.
And I think that's a benefit of shows on Apple TV compared to like Netflix, because it seems like they have contracts for a certain amount of seasons from the get-go.
Yeah.
That way they could build storytelling, and they're not worried about if it doesn't have X amount of viewers that they're going to be canceled at the end of the season. It seems like Netflix had so
Apple.
many shows that
Okay.
canceled prematurely.
Uh-huh. And we touched on this the last episode. Apple
Hmm.
is they're less concerned about streaming because they're making a fortune off of computers and AirPods and all of their fucking accessories. Like they're selling things. Netflix is a company that their entire business model is streaming service now. They don't have any other product that they're pushing like Amazon and Apple. So I think when you're only dealing with streaming, you're trying to only make money that way. Like I think it puts them in a box a little bit because they're relying too heavily on those financials to make good TV now. They're making business decisions, and business decisions don't make good art. Sometimes limitations force creativity into a place where it wouldn't have gone, and it's really good because of that. But I think I think a lot of TV is starting to suffer from. We've seen it all before. Like it's hard to impress us now, and CGI has made it so that they can do whatever the fuck they want. So without the best scripts, you're not going anywhere. And it seems like Netflix is in a quantity over quality kind of model now, where they're just fucking throwing whatever they can at viewers to try and keep people from getting rid of their service.
That's a good point. What what would Netflix be able to sell? They have to get into some sort of other business.
Yeah, I don't like.
Makes
I
money.
don't know what you break into at that point. That's the thing. Like the other company, like Amazon and Apple, started as something very different. They were like, we own the technology. We can get into this. Like, it wasn't. Amazon owns the web servers that fucking Netflix is operating off of. I'm sure once Amazon was like, oh, we see what you guys are doing in the cloud and how you guys are using our servers to run Netflix, it's fucking easy for us to just open up our own fucking channel and just create some content.
Someone's gonna acquire Netflix, huh? It's gonna be a merge or
Absolutely, dude. Like one of
Elon.
these, probably. I wouldn't be, dude. I wouldn't be surprised if like he comes out. Like I hope they change. I hope he doesn't just try and make X a streaming service, because it sounds more like a porn site. But
Hey, that'd be cool. Imagine X as a streaming service. It'd be
it
fucking
might be, dude.
crazy.
Yeah, it could be.
So much racist shit. It'd be very entertaining to say the least, though.
Yeah, it would be super entertaining. But
Yeah.
would it be good? X would probably be better. Honestly, if you were going to turn X into some sort of streaming service, make it a reality TV show. Make it a service that is focused on reality TV, of just kind of what the culture of Twitter is.
I think that's
That
a
would be
$1 million
chaos.
idea. Make checks
Could
payable
be.
to Passed Out Podcast, Elon, and please and thank you. Speaking of Netflix shows, what do you think Stranger Things is going to be doing this final season?
I haven't watched season 4 yet, but like I know the general idea. Like I know that. So last thing I saw was the end of season 3, but I know that Hopper's alive.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that Vecna's the villain, and I know that the one of the new cast members plays like a Metallica solo to end it. So I pretty much know what happens. I don't really know like the beats of like where everybody kind of ended up at the end of the last season going into season 5.
I think, well, it kind of ties into what we've talked about a few times in the episodes. I really think it's going to touch on like Project Gateway and Gate, because it really ties into the 80s. That's kind of when it started,
Yeah.
or it was in its heyday by then. And then with 11 having telekinesis and
Mm-hmm.
telepathy, yeah, telepathy.
Telepathy. Yeah.
Um, and then you kind of see, I don't know, forget which season they imply this, but you'll see some of the other characters kind of having different abilities, not nearly like 11's, but more grounded things, to where it kind of ties in with that whole gate thingy. However, I don't think that Vecna or anything like that, I think they're still supernatural. I still
Mm-hmm.
think that there's some sort of dimensional gateway that it was like a science experiment gotten wrong, like CERN, maybe something like
Yeah.
CERN, but the Soviet version of it.
Was
What's
was
the upside down?
Vecna was I don't know, was Vecna a well, so does the Upside Down have something to do with D&D? Because the opening scene of the first season, they're playing D&D. And there's a whole lot of D&D references, and like
Yes.
all of the things that they name their like the villains, like the Demigorgon. That's the villain. That's like, that's from fucking D&D. So like, and so is the Mind Flayer, D&D. So I don't know if Vecna's from D&D though. But I'm assuming probably something like that is from it, and I'm assuming that the Upside Down is kind of like probably like some sort of interdimensional plane, like from D&D.
So Will,
I actually might have a fucking.
he's the first one taken to the Upside Down, right? Or yeah, because it's before that chick
Yeah.
gets killed. So it's Will's mind that creates the Upside Down, and with he was like what 12, 11 in the first season. He doesn't have a lot of
Yeah.
real world references, so all these villains like the Demogorgon, Vecna, shit like that, it's from his perception of reality, and he's a D&D player, so a lot of these
Yeah. So
things
he's
could be
just.
his doing. That's
Yeah.
why he has an attachment of sorts to Vecna.
That's why
Um,
he was attached to the Mind Flayer too. Like in the whole second season, he was having like he was seeing the visions of it over the school.
yeah, the D&D thing, I would be so disappointed that if it ended up being like it was just different D&D sessions that they were having.
That might do that. What if that's how they end it? You're just like, okay.
I think people would be pissed. Really, it'd be like
That's
it
like
would
the
be
that's
like Lost.
dude. That's exactly what I was about to say. I was like, I was like, this is gonna be the end of Lost, where it's like the dog's dream.
I'll never forget. I was playing Super Mario Brothers 2, and that was around the same age, 10 or 11, and I beat it, and then finding out that, spoiler alert, even though it came out 40 years ago, that it was all in Mario's dream. That pissed me off so much. That was the first time that ever happened to me. Like, oh, it was just a dream after all.
I'm trying to think if there's anything that really made me mad where they were like, it's just a dream. I
There
can't
was
think of anything off the top of my head.
there was one show that did it right because it was the same. It was a comedy. It was the same. Uh, oh my god, I can't think of either name, but the second series that he plays in, the last episode, he wakes up next to his TV wife of the first series that he was in, and it was all like that series was all just a dream of that character from the previous series, and that was like considered one of the best endings in TV history.
That
That's cool.
that is cool. What was that?
I'm gonna check right now.
Okay, look it up. But I have something that have you seen the theory that that basically Bryan Cranston's character in the dad and Malcolm in the Middle and Walter White are the same character, and it's just like a different portion of his life.
I like that.
I love that theory. He just those two people are so those two. I know both of those shows very well, and those two characters are so fucking different.
Okay, so it was the sitcom Newhart, where the entire series was revealed to be a dream of Bob Newhart's character from the Bob Newhart Show.
Interesting. Never seen either of those. Never even heard of them.
You'd recognize it if you saw it, I think.
Bob Newhart show?
Yeah, at least Newhart.
Okay, let me look. That's so interesting.
Newhart. You should show it on screen share
Oh, I'm looking on my phone.
because I'm too stupid to. But this is here. I'll show it. This is Newhart.
It looks like something my grandparents probably watched.
My parents are old. I always forget how old my parents are. So like, I was raised by boomers, and my dad was an early boomer.
Yeah, dude. See, like I was 20 when my dad was 20 when I was born. So like,
My dad was 39.
yeah,
40
dude. Like,
almost.
when my dad turned 39, all of his kids had moved out of the house already.
That's crazy.
Mostly just because my brother went to live with my mom.
That's
and they
me
got
next
divorced,
year.
yeah, dude. My parents were
Wow.
getting divorced at the age I'm at now. It's crazy to think about.
Wow.
Yeah.
So different though, like a 39-year-old today compared to a
39-year-old in
39-year-old.
like 2005.
Not well, that's less, but
Could you imagine like when our grandparents were like 35?
yeah, exactly. Even my
Like,
dad, he seems so much older. Or TV, you see this all the time, or at least I do, where it shows an actor where he was a TV dad, and then it shows his age. It was 37, and he looks like
yeah.
a 55-year-old.
How old was Red Foreman? in that 70s show? Because he,
Good question.
like, because he doesn't really look that much older now. I'm
Right.
like, were they making him look older than he was?
Maybe it could. It's the clothes too that
Yeah.
do it. Kurtwood Smith. I always forget he was in RoboCop.
Yeah, dude.
So he was born in 1943. So he was in his 60s then.
Okay, in the
That
90s.
or in his
Like
mid
late
50s.
50s. Yeah.
So that makes sense.
Okay.
But Will Smith right now is older than Uncle Phil was when Fresh Prince started. That one blows my mind.
Me too, dude. Yeah, dude. It's like also the fact that like you know, I look like fucking. I feel like I look older than Tom Cruise, and he's 62. Like,
Well, they're also drinking children's blood and adrenaline. Hillary Clinton, Huma Abedin. We talked about this earlier. They're doing some
we should
weird
talk.
shit.
We should do an in-depth episode on the Church of Scientology.
Oh, dude, did you know I live really fucking close to the headquarters? Clearwater? I want to go there one time and film it. See
Bro,
how much I
there's
can
a
film.
dude. There's a. I literally saw something the other day where there was like a podcaster who like had snuck in, and like they like had thought that he was like one of them, and then he was filming it.
Oh, I heard about that too. I think
Yeah,
he was
dude,
an
and like he got kicked
ex-member.
out. Yeah. So and now he's which dude, there's a lot of people that have come out against it. Like, dude, like Leah
Former member.
Remini. Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, like her like she like told her whole story about how fucking crazy it is.
Mm-hmm.
And Katie Holmes fucking talks about how crazy fucking some of the like the initiation to like she like was basically like interviewed and auditioned to be Tom Cruise's wife. Yeah, you haven't heard that?
No.
Yeah,
But she
dude,
would
like
get the job automatically. I'd be like,
she says
you're hired.
yeah, she still looks pretty good. I just saw her. She was in an episode of Poker Face recently.
Oh, I need to watch that.
Dude, it's so good. That is really good. I what
Okay.
I really like about that is it's like there's an overarching theme in the first season, but like every episode's more like a who done it, like the episode of the week kind of structure. So it goes down easy, and I really like the structure and the setup. And the second season has been really good. The first season was really good, but the second season, like, dude, I feel like everything I like in the first season they elevate in the second season.
Well, that's how good shows usually are.
Yeah, dude. So or they
But
completely fall off, and I'm like, nah, I'm good. Fucking first season was probably it for me.
let's go back to Katie Holmes though. She had to audition.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she had to audition, like they were auditioning women like who could be his wife.
It's weird.
Yeah, like they were
I
like
think Tom
asking
Cruise's
weird
current
questions and
wife
shit.
is Persian. I wonder if she has to be
Is she?
Scientologist, right?
Has to be, right?
Let's see, I could be completely wrong. Tom Cruise wife.
I still
Let's
can't
see
believe
here.
how insane some of these stunts that he is still doing at his age are.
Oh, no, he's with Ana de Armas. Who am I thinking of?
What's the age gap between those two?
Ana de Armas. So he is
You think
1962,
she's
so he's
hot?
63. I
Yeah.
honestly don't know how she looks like. Ana de Armas.
Bro,
She's
she's
cute. Yeah,
ballerina. She's the new John
she's
Wick.
your age. She's almost exactly a year younger
37?
than me.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
so she's 37. All right. She's hot. She's in. You haven't seen Knives Out or anything she was in? She's in. She's in the first
Uh,
Knives Out movie. That was the first thing I think I saw her in. But I keep seeing her. I've seen her in a lot of stuff now.
yeah, now that she is in Scientology.
She did that. She did a movie with Ben Affleck where like she wouldn't stop. They were married and she wouldn't stop sleeping with people on him, and he killed every person she slept with.
No, I haven't seen that.
Yeah,
So
can't remember
Nazanin
what that was.
Boniati, that was who I was thinking of, and she
Okay,
was with
was that
Tom
his
Cruise for a
girlfriend
while.
before?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see if she's a Scientologist. I really want to go to Clearwater. Apparently, all these like businesses downtown are closed. It's just open. It's unleased office space over there because the Scientology bought it all up, and then they don't want anybody who's non-Scientologist to
Is
hang out in the area.
Clearwater the city that's just north of St. Pete? Is it like Clearwater and
It's
St. Pete, pretty
the
much?
it's like the Henderson to Tampa. So yeah, I mean, St. Pete is kind of. I think St. Pete. I live here. I live in the area, and I should know better. But it
Well, so
seems
the
like
map so the Tampa's this part of the bay, and then when you cross the bridge, you're on that little piece down here. You're in that's St. Pete, and I think Clearwater's just above St. Pete in the north piece of that little portion.
oh, okay, okay. I think you're right. Yeah. So it's it used to be a bustling little city, from what I heard,
Yeah.
and now it's just oh my god, dude. Right now, your video's buffering, and I swear to God, it looked like you're going like this. You're like doing like karate. That's so weird. I don't know why it's making your hands do that, dude. You
I don't
haven't even
know.
moved your
I
hands
don't know.
once. It
No.
was tripping me out.
It might be
That's
your
so
internet
weird.
connection.
Yeah, but why are your hands moving and
I
doing
don't know.
karate motions?
I
I
don't know.
swear, dude, it's like this. You're going like this. You're like
So funny.
you're like raving.
Giving a light show.
Yeah, seriously was like a light show, but it was very aggressive. Man, that's so weird. Cool. I
uh,
wish I know it's not going to come out like that, but I wish people could see what I just saw right now. I promise I'm not on mushrooms.
uh, I was reading an dude. I read an article about St. Pete earlier. I guess there was a proposal to put like robot legs on the stadium, on the Rays stadium, so that it could stand up and walk away if they wanted to move it to a different city. It
No, that
was like a
has to be
$3 billion
satire.
project. The city council turned it down, but
That is what
dude,
the fuck?
hold on, let me
What?
see
It's
if I.
so much cheaper to just make a new stadium. Sounds like reminds me of grandma's
Yeah, but
boy.
like if they build it once, they want to be able to like move the stadium. They're like, well, if like our franchise fails here, we want to be able to pick up our stadium and move it somewhere else, like a mobile home. Oh. Let
That's
me see if
so
I can
weird.
find this. Yeah, hold on, St. Pete
I've always wanted to get
Stadium.
metal legs. It's like a JP idea from Grandma's Boy. The baseball does not work in Florida for MLB. For spring training, yes, but it's so hot and humid. You have to have an indoor stadium, which is what the Rays had, and the roof fucking blew off. But then now they're playing in an outdoor stadium that seats like 15,000 people, and they don't even sell that out. And I was seeing highlights of them playing the Detroit Tigers.
Can you see this?
Can't wait.
Can you see? You ready for me
St.
to
Pete
scroll? You
pulls
see the
plug on $3 billion plan to give Rays Stadium giant robot legs.
robot
This
legs? Look
is
at this.
real.
Bro, this is real. This is 100% real.
Imagine seeing that, like not knowing what's happening.
You're like, is this an alien invasion, bro? It looks like something out of District 9. But
It
yeah,
looks like District 9 and the Onion came up with something.
yeah. So
Imagine it like goes rogue and just starts fucking. This is how fucking. I'm glad they turned this down. Imagine they're like, yeah, we're gonna put robot legs. You would have to put legs that huge, right?
yeah.
What the Who came up with that idea?
Dude, I don't know.
That's the most retarded thing I've ever heard.
It looks
What
ridiculous
the
though, right, dude?
fuck?
It looks like something out of like a sci-fi movie. Oh. Okay.
What was that article from? This is insane. How have I never heard of this?
I'm not. This is. I think this looks like it might be satire, but like, dude, there's an article. But so what I was
I'm
just looking at looks like a satire site, but like, dude, they're reporting it on ESPN.
Yeah, that's insane. There's an it's a meme, dude.
What?
I don't think it can't be real.
Well, if I was fooled by the internet, I hope it at least gave us a funny story.
We seem like boomers right now.
We're like, is this AI? Is this a real article?
Obama's name was Barry Satoro. You seen that one where like You ever hear the theory about Obama being a dude who he was actually sent on missions to Mars, and his name was Barry Soetoro before he became Barack Obama?
So
Yeah,
funny.
there was a guy who came on Art Bell like 2006, and Art Bell, I guess, forgot that he had written in his autobiography that he worked at some tech institute. I want to say ITT, but that's like a school. And then the guy was like, the guy calling in had this elaborate story about how he was sent back in time to the Gettysburg Address, saw Abe Lincoln, but there's this really crazy picture that nobody knew about, and he said he was a kid in that, and he had oversized shoes that he could barely run in. And there's a picture that came out a few years later where it looks like this kid who's out of place with the out of period haircut at the Gettysburg Address, alone, no adult around him. So that was weird. But
That
then,
is crazy.
yeah,
Just
and then he comes up with other stories of like where you're sent to the future, or it might have been the past where Mars was still habitable.
it
And
would have
then
been
he
the
said,
past, right? Like
I think so.
we're
Yeah.
we're I feel like we're starting to discover like pieces of Mars that like maybe look like it could have been more like Earth a long time ago. Like
Fat ionosphere would be totally, I think it is in the Goldilocks zone.
it is, yeah.
And then, yeah. Oh, and Mars, when he was in battle, he met a dude named Barry Soetoro, who he claims today is Barack Obama. Four other people came out saying that they knew Barry Soetoro. So now it's become this whole thing where boomers are like, yeah. First he was Kenyan and a Muslim. Now he's Barry Soetoro. And then his wife is a man. Crazy.
Yeah. Interesting.
I don't get the hate for Obama so much.
I don't either.
What okay? If you think he was a shitty president, cool. But then they come up with this elaborate idea that he was someone completely different. That's where you kind of lose the plot because it's a boy who cried wolf kind of game.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, just say you thought he was a shitty president. That's fine. Then if it would be really cool if he was Barry Soetoro.
I know
Dude,
that'd be
you
super
ever,
interesting.
speaking of time travel, have we ever talked about, like, even personally, have we ever talked about John Titor?
No.
I am obsessed with this story, dude. I am obsessed, obsessed, obsessed. Okay.
Tell this
So,
story. Yeah, tell the story, and then we're gonna wrap up here, just because we
okay.
talked about doing a little bit shorter episodes. So
Okay.
let's end on this. Let's do this last story.
So, John Titor, this was also an Art Bell thing. This was 1999. Someone faxes Art Bell saying that his name is John Titor, that he's from the year 2036, and that he has come to the year 2000 to help prevent Y2K from happening. But his first mission was to go back into 1975 to get a certain IBM computer that could translate code, because in the year 2036 there's not any of those computers left, and that in 2036 a similar thing to Y2K is about to happen, to where infrastructure is going to completely fail. So this ends up being true in the year 2036. If we don't translate code to like higher bits of memory, they started with the second rules. So right now it's like a huge ass number, to where it's like the first second started in 1970 or something like that. And then instead of counting time in increment, like the increment is from seconds. So however many seconds ago 1970 was, that's the measurement of time going up right now. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think we talked about this on when we talked about Y2K.
Okay, yeah, we did. So that part's
I
true.
now I remember like part of it. I didn't know like I don't think we talked about John Titor or anything. I think we had just like talked about how like Y2K could potentially happen again.
So okay, yes, and but that that was one thing that he was right about. And then another thing he was right about was they asked him to create like a blueprint of the machine that he used to time travel, and he talks about like anti-gravity. He talks about black holes, like creating black holes, which all these things kind of become not proven yet, but it's kind of going in that direction. He claims that there's at that time, Stephen Hawking had a theory about black holes. It was before Hawking radiation came out, and it was like that black holes. Once anything goes into a black hole, that it's just done forever. It's like a complete void. And this dude claimed that Hawking was going to come out and retract that statement. 2014 comes, Hawking retracts it. So that's two things he has right. He talks about Iraq, the Iraq war coming up. But then there's other things he gets wrong. Well, that haven't come true yet. He says that there was a civil war that happens in like 2015 that starts off with Russia bombing the east coast of America. But then, in a genius move, if this was a hoax, which probably is, but it's still fun, he says that since he altered Y2K from happening, certain things will happen at different points, or they won't even happen at all. Because he was one of the first, not one of the first people, but he really believed in the multiverse theory. He said when he goes back in time, that it creates a new timeline, but he could go back to
Yeah,
his
like
own timeline with that computer. You know what I mean? So like that was his
that's kind of
mission.
weird. Okay, like it's
So the grandfather paradox doesn't happen. If he went back in time, killed his grandpa, it wouldn't prevent him from being born. So that's kind of how he saves like his whole thing. He's like,
yeah,
yeah, your time. He comes up with this thing called time divergence, and that's he can't travel to a universe that's like more than 2% different than his current universe, because like the physics could be way off or something. He could be completely obliterated once he gets there. So he has all these different things about the multiverse, and uh, it's just really cool about all the shit that he came up with. And he talks about, and this kind of ties in with Anon's prophetic dream that we talked about last time with like Russia. It always has to do with Russia starting it. And granted, for what, 35 years, 40 years, the Soviet Union was the biggest threat to America, and there was a threat of nuclear war at any point between the two sides. So that's kind of an easy thing. But in the 90s, Russia was kind of an ally at that point when they broke off as a Soviet Union. So it's just a really crazy thing to look into. An anime is called Steins Gate even talks about John Titor and time machines, and it's become a cultural phenomenon. But I don't know. I love that story so much.
that's an interesting story. It is a good. Yeah, I love time travel, so I'm here for it.
Do you think it's possible?
Yes, I just think it's not exactly what we think it is. I think that I do think that he's probably more right about branch timelines. Like I don't ever really think that, the Back to the Future time travel like change the past and affect the future. Like it feels like, I don't know. I think the way that Hulk explains it in Endgame is really good about how like the version of you from here going to the past can't affect a different version of you in the future. So
Mm-hmm.
I think
Now,
that's
do you think they're conditioning us with all these movies and video games about multiverses that there's something to it and they're just trying to get us used to that fact?
potentially. It just like when did the comic books start really like honing in on the multiverse stuff? Like I feel like it was like the 80s, right? Like when Marvel really was doing a lot of it.
Yeah, and then yeah, that's true. It was the
Yeah, like
80s.
like we're really pulling from like, just backdated comic books at this point to make movies.
But
So,
even video games like BioShock, Mortal Kombat's done it.
yeah.
I know there's a bunch that I'm forgetting about, but
Mhm.
I guess it's the easiest thing to do when you're rebooting a series is just
Hmm.
have a timeline
Yeah,
kind
just
of
different
explain.
timeline.
Yeah.
Yeah, like sometimes you're like the vibe and the like we want the vibe and the mechanics, but like we just want to be able to write a different story where you're not in this box. I think that makes sense.
Well, cool. This went by fast. Before we go, we're going to be releasing episodes every Tuesday, 9 a.m. Eastern. So look out for those. And then we have the shorts throughout the week, which we're excited about, the little clips. Maybe we should start doing unreleased stuff that doesn't make it to the show for clips. We're
We
going to
could
come up with a whole
potentially do
bunch of new
that.
shit,
Yeah,
basically.
we're gonna keep hashing things out as we go. But until next week, everybody take it easy.
Bye.